5 pillars.
He ain't like that, you know what I'm saying?
Sir, we're doing an interview. Sir.
You know what I mean?
So this is for the DVD, sir. Thank you. All right, I'm here with two of the 5 pillars just off a fresh Elite 8 victory. Hard-earned victory. These guys were down to 15 points, probably 15, 18 points in the first half. Halftime down about 10, 12 in the halftime league. Yeah, around there. 18. Take us through that second half. It means you guys are probably the most you've been down all tournament. What went through you guys' minds? How'd you guys got that victory out?
Just a real physical game. Told the guys even in the first half, just being down right off the bat was a 12, 15-5 at one point, then 21-5 at one point. I just kept telling them keep playing because I know with shooters like Ali and Amr, we're a couple threes away from taking over.
And Ali, you hit some real tough threes down the stretch. I mean, what helped you get on track and finally hit some of those tough shots?
Just got some looks. I wasn't getting the looks the whole game, and then finally just got freed up and knocked it down. Fortunate enough to knock it down. So.
You credit the defense in the second half and put the clamps down, play the intensity like you need to do.
So right now you guys are resting. You got a Final Four matchup with the winner of Fade and Shockwaves. Obviously, played both those teams before. Take us through, your thought process on whoever you're going to face.
Two different styles. With Shocks is going to be slowing down half-court offense. We try to get the ball running against both teams. Fade's really up and down like our style. Either opponent's going to be tough.
It's going to be coming down to defense. That's what's going to come down to.
Fellas, rest up. That's the what? 5 pillars in the Final Four. Check them out. All right, I'm here with EDMOND and Gary from California, New Jersey, Super franchise. You guys just had a real tough loss. Not to consult them or anything like that. Pretty much won in the first half. You guys looked at everything you threw and threw up. Everything was falling from anywhere. Second half, take us through what happened in the second half. Honestly, 5 pillars are a physical team. Defensively, they're back against the wall. They stepped up a lot. But kind of take us in your opinion, kind of give us what happened in the second half.
We missed every single shot that we took.
We tried to kick the ball around, get something going, just give it to pillars that play good defense, but we just weren't hitting.
You guys scored 21-10.
Well, yeah, 21
second half. So you pretty much see that. Not to blame the rest. We didn't get any calls inside. Our big man shot 2 free throws the whole game. But it's okay. Everybody. This was just for fun. Everybody comes out, meet everybody, just play. So it's cool. We'll be back next year. Recuperate.
This is your guys' first tournament in DC. I think it's you guys won a couple tournaments on the circuit that's in DC. We have obviously a little bit of a different format here with 5 games and stuff like that. What do you give us your opinion on that structure? How do you think does it help hurt you? How do you guys think of the pre-playoff structure?
Well, this year is kind of crazy because I've been watching this. Like I watched last year's DC, year before that. This year, no, I didn't play Sabu and Paul played.
Okay, you were here.
But it was crazy because this year some of the top teams like Casa was supposed to be the #1 seed from our side. They got kicked out. You guys lost in early games. Shocks lost to something like I think Chicago 1 and Chicago 2. So, but they made it. It was crazy. But I like this. You get to play 5 games. So if somebody who's not on Sunday, they at least got 5 games in. So.
Yeah, it's fitting for March.
Yeah, man. We have more upsets than CBS here.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys are a relatively young team, so it's a tough loss like this is, it can be a bad thing, but it can also be a good thing in terms of learning experience. So, next tournament coming up, I think Vancouver, I don't know if you guys are playing.
We're definitely going to
How do you expect to build on this in the future?
Well, we're missing one guy. We're missing a guard, lefty, so with him, it's a huge help. We have a little more subs because we only have like 6 solid guys that sub. The rest of the guys just come and have fun. For Vancouver, we'll be prepared. Everyone's coming out, so it'll be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, this is Super franchise had a tough loss, but I expect big things from these guys in the future. Guys, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Chris.
Rippy and Cash, California Shockwaves, obviously in front of the chest. You guys are in the Final Four again, in the territory and familiar opponent, 5 pillars. Obviously we play these guys hundreds of times. It seems like the game's always the same, physical, grinded out. Probably tough for fans to watch because it's always crazy games. But take us through, how you can approach the team. These guys yesterday we won. So what's going through your minds going into this game?
Well, they got the shooters. They got Ali and they got Amr. So that's going to be our main goal is to try to contain those guys. Of course, you got to watch for USMAN driving things, or driving to the basket. So got to cut that off. I mean, basically, like you said, it's going to be a game where it's physical, and you just got to. I don't want to say it just sounds bad, but you got to give as much as we take. So that's just what it comes down to: play a hard game and pull it out.
You guys just got off a hard-fought win against tough, scrappy FA Wise. I think you guys were probably about 11 early in the second half. They cut it to like 5, 6 at one point. I think they had a really tough three-point play to kind of set it. What went on down the stretch that you guys went on?
I think it's our D. You know, they're a shooting team. You know, they like to get hot. They like to just get into rhythm and just start casting. And I think that was the big thing about Monov and Haynes was we got to limit that. You know, everybody's got to do their part and everybody's got to stop it. So I mean, it's the same approach as defense. You know, it starts at defense and then we just let the offense come to us. So if we can stop a team, you don't need to score as much.
Rippy, you guys are defending champs. You won this last year. Nobody's ever repeated in DC. I don't think even the defending champs ever made it in the finals. So, what do you think the chances are of making history?
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, you know, so but it's going to be tough. We got a game against the Pillars, which is always a battle. So, looking forward to it. And when we face after that, we just take it one game at a time. You know, back to back. We've done it before, not in DC, but in Chicago. So just going to go out, take a game at a time, and see how it goes.
All right, folks, best of luck. Obviously, I can't be sincere. Seriously, thank you. All right. Of Tennessee 30 South, it's ATL, sorry, Tennessee 30 South. We've got an Elite 8 matchup coming up with Chicago 1, I believe.
That's great.
Take us through, what's going on. Obviously, it's a big game. Chance to get in the Final Four probably for the first time for you guys at this tournament.
At this tournament, yeah, in Dallas.
I mean, obviously, a lot riding on this, and hopefully, you never know what might happen after that. So, kind of take us through what's going on with your game plan as they can approach this guys.
Well, we really haven't seen them play a lot like we'd like to. Just didn't happen to work out. But I think we just really got to focus on our own game. We're kind of working on our own strategy since we really don't know how they're playing, what kind of defense we need to play in, how we're going to control the ball on offense, and really, try to we got a lot of height on our team. For the first time, we got 4 or 5 guys that are 6'5" and taller. So maybe we should push it down low and let them, take it more often. So
as far as the team, this is, I think, the 4th time we made it into the playoffs. We're always underdogs. No one puts us advancing. So I just want to show people when we play. When we play team ball, we can put it together. We're a strong team. So just trying to get as deep as we can.
And you guys went 3-2 bracket play?
3-2.
3-2. It seemed like every game I watched you guys play, it seemed like it came down to the wire. You were in pretty much every game. You kind of had to scrap and fight for every victory. So how do you get your guys to carry that energy? So you seem like you got a lot of newcomers, a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
How do you get them to carry that energy from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yeah, it's always tough for us. We play together 2 times a year. We're all in different cities. We never played together growing up and all that. So it's tough to put it together at these tournaments. So we're just trying to play hard. And team ball is what's gotten us here this tournament. We're starting to use each other better because as we play more, we get more used to each other. So that's what's been helping us, just kind of relying on each other more than the one and stuff.
and on Sundays it's either you win or you go home. So you know what, you
leave it all out there.
Friday and Saturday you want to kind of use a lot more of your bench players. You have a deep bench, so you don't get as tired. But on Sundays, you really just got to gut it out and just give it everything you have and see, lay it on the line. And usually when we do that, we can hold our own with most of the teams. So that's why the games are very close. Yeah.
All right, fellas, well, best of luck. Hopefully, make the Final Four.
Thanks a lot.
See you even deeper. All right, here with 2 big fellas. I'm a short guy over here with ANISH and BADAL from Chicago 1. You guys came into the tournament probably as, I said, the most hyped team. I think it was big news coming out of Chicago. You guys, unity out of Chicago, making one team out of all these different players coming from all over the place. So, kind of coming into this tournament, nobody knew what to expect. And how do you think the 5-game format and all the format of this tournament has that helped you guys develop chemistry and something you guys never played together? I mean, some of you have, some of you haven't. So, kind of take us through that. How's that help you out?
Well, I think it was a good mix. The 5 games definitely helped us gel each game because coming into this we hadn't really played together at all. We kind of put the team together and then we couldn't practice much before that. So I mean the 5 games definitely helped. I feel like now we're starting to really gel. We know what we're trying to do and we play together better. So I think it'll help going to the playoffs.
The format, I think the format definitely helps because with 5 games, as a team, we all can progressively get better after each.
Yeah, I got a question. How did one form?
What happened is, it's basically the dome and the outsider, right? And basically dome couldn't go just because we had lack of guards. We couldn't make it school and some other obligations. And so outsiders asked us, too big to roll and dangle. It really wasn't, there was a lot of talk about what's going on in Chicago, but there's not much. It's more of just dome couldn't go, so we decided to form a combo team. This is one of the toughest tournaments in the circuit, so we knew we couldn't go just half-ass, so that's really it.
Speaking from experience with 5 pillars and now defunct Maryland, Virginia Cobras, rest in peace, winning kind of breeds a new mentality. So, obviously you guys, let's be honest, your side of the bracket is a little, I think it's there for the taking. You seem like a little bit heavier loaded on the other side of the court. So obviously you guys have a good shot at getting to the finals, and you never know what might happen in the finals. Let's say you guys have a good run here. What do you think is the future of one? Could we be seeing one in future tournaments, or are you guys going to go back to your home jerseys?
That's kind of TBA right now. We're not sure. We got to kind of go back, see what figure it out, and figure out what happens, see how we do what we got.
Just speaking from personal experience, you get that chip, it's a good feeling, and you want to keep it alive. So, Fellas, best of luck. Thanks for seeing you guys later on. Chicago Pack Tech, the final 4 participants. Chicago Pack Tech. It's been a while since we've said that. With IMRAN and HABIB. You guys, we were just talking earlier. Teams seem like they've been sleeping on you. You guys made them pay.
Yeah, first of all, I want to really thank you guys for a great tournament, and we're really happy that you guys invited us. It's been a long, we've been playing for 17, 18 years, and our 90s were the good years, and we've kind of fallen off for some time. So we got some young blood, young man IMRAN over here, and I think hopefully people sleeping. It was our time to finally hopefully gel together with the young and the old, and try to make some noise, and hopefully people could now in other tournaments give us free invites now.
You guys went 2 and 3 in bracket play. It seemed like every game was kind of a battle. You got two big wins and 3 tough losses. And kind of take us through how did you guys prepare coming into this last game with D-Unit? Obviously D-Unit probably comes in as a heavy favorite. They kind of coasted through their bracket. So how do you guys come in, come into this game?
We were just like, man, we knew they were a good team. They're like the #1 team in the whole thing. So we were just like, they're gonna play hard, we're gonna play hard. It doesn't matter if we're gonna play hard. We got talent, they got talent. It was just we gonna come out who wanted more. We came out, we just played harder, all in our way.
You guys played the winner of the game going on right now. It's Chicago won. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Chicago guys. You guys playing in the leagues. How do you approach this next game, regardless of who you play?
Both of them are great talent. Both of them we got to play. To be exact, we played them in our bracket, Atlanta, and we lost. We beat them in Dallas. So I think right now it's going to take some time. Hopefully that I think we're going to have to kind of watch the game right now. Make some changes because we did lose to Atlanta, and so now, and at the same time, and now it looks like outsiders gelled together. So now we've never seen this look. So I think really it is try to play our game, take it slow, work with our inside and outside game, and hopefully, as long as we try our best, and hopefully, we'll take care of the rest.
Do you think you guys obviously have a pretty good regular year-round league in Chicago. Is this the team that you have here kind of your core team that you play in that league?
Yeah, only person is really missing is, a mid that comes off the bench, and one of our starters, Malik, and the rest of the guys there. We got a couple guys that couldn't make it, so we had to pick up one of a mid from over here, State. Mostly, most of our guys right here.
So you think like the format of this tournament with the 5 round robin games plus your experience, playing with your own
does that give you guys any kind of advantage, you think, coming into a game against a team like Chicago that's kind of an all-star team? This is what kind of throws
Yeah,
together?
it's good. I think one thing that back attack, we've kind of stuck our core guys for 15, 20 years, really kind of gelled. You know, I think finally this last 2 years we kind of added some players still in the mix who are from our community, you know, and so grew up together. So I think that's what it's kind of helped us. And hopefully, when you have two teams, you know, gelling together at this last minute, like before tournament, hopefully, you know, we can kind of sneak that in somehow, and you know, maybe they're not that familiar, even though they might play with each other, against each other, and now they're playing together. So we're hopefully, we're hoping that something could happen.
Slept on me.
One last question, man. I gotta ask you. Don't get bitter. What's up with the hair, man? You bring Anthony Mason back. What's up? What's up with the hair? What's going on?
My whole thing was, you guys want to know me before I leave. See, that's what my thing was. I want to get like out the graphics in the head. So I'll make sure everybody notices me on the court.
Well, you guys been turning heads. Hopefully continue to do the next game, guys. Good luck.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Great tournament again, you guys.
Vic and Edwin of New York Demon, you guys had a tough loss, just a 3-point loss. Came down to the wire. Obviously disappointed. You guys came into the playoffs as probably the #1 seed and arguably on the toughest bracket, came in as the top seed, and it sucks to go out this early. So, you know, that being said, what happened down the stretch of the game that you guys weren't able to win out?
Well, me and my colleagues were discussing it. You know, when we first came out, we didn't come out with the same intensity as we did in the previous games. And obviously, everybody's ready to play us. They kind of saw us throughout the weekend, and they're ready for the #1 seed, and everybody wants to beat that team. And you know, just down the stretch, we made a couple of bad plays at the end. They pulled it off. The free throws was really good for them. But at the same time, you know, just the intensity to beginning of the game to start out. That the way we have come out with the better teams. We played Maryland earlier in California. We came out very strong in the beginning to make a statement, and that's the same way what they were trying to do.
And you guys, I mean, on paper, talent-wise, I mean, you guys were, you know, hands-down favorites. You think this is the kind of situation where you might have kind of been looking past this team at all, like, you know, not expecting them to, you know, come out as hard as they
Complacency
did?
is always an issue with it when you start like winning a lot. You know, unless you stay together and kind of stay with the main focus, one focus together. Complacency always gets in your system, and that's exactly what happened with Ohio yesterday. You know, we overlooked. We're looking ahead. We're worried about #1. We're worried about tomorrow, and Ohio came down and showed it to us. And we needed that eye opener. And this obviously we didn't step up from the eye opener.
Now, Edwin, is this your first tournament here in DC?
In DC, yes.
What do you've been to a couple tournaments on the circuit? I mean, obviously we have a different setup here with the 5-round bracket. What's your take on the tournament as a whole? How do you like that format versus?
I like it. You know, it gives you a chance to really set your place where you want to be. And I think it was tough. You know, you got to be in shape to do this. You know, 3 games a day and 3 days in a row. I think it kind of took a toll on us, really. But I like it. You know, it's a good structure. We had a couple of good teams, good competition. Just, you know, come out with it.
All right. For D, I mean, I've been watching you guys play for 4 or 5 years. You guys came out with an intensity that I've never seen you guys play. When you came out, you guys, it's 20 pieces of shocks. You guys, you know, gave it to us, and you played. You came out, and obviously you had a little bit more motivation coming into our game. Because of the situations we won't speak of on camera. But you know, how do you build on those experiences? I mean, you know, you showed this tournament that you can play with anybody and beat anybody. Now, I mean, the challenge I think for you guys going forward is taking that intensity and carrying it into every game. How do you get your troops to play like that?
That's something that I was really proud of when we first came in. I've noticed in the past few tournaments that when we come together, when we lose, we don't stick together sometimes. You know, a lot of teams have those issues, like, you know, people kind of taking it upon themselves or kind of point fingers, but I felt like this tournament, we stuck together as a team the entire time. You know, usually we'll come in separately and, you know, kind of do our own thing, maybe not get together after the games, before the games. And, you know, I've seen a lot of veteran teams do that, like stay structured throughout the tournament. And that plays a big role in how a team comes together, play together, supports each other. And obviously there was no one to blame or point in any other game plays. We played together, we lost together, and we're proud of what we did. It's great.
Well, fellas, obviously it sucks to go out this early, but I definitely think you got some good experiences for both. Hopefully, best of luck in the future. Thanks to you guys. Hopefully it's the finals very soon.
Stan is a former IPB player. He used to run with Atlanta Outcast back in the day. He's actually working on a PhD paper related to IPB. So why don't you just kind of explain what the whole thing's about and kind of the purpose of it?
Thank you very, very much. My work actually looks at looking at how we can use basketball to talk about immigrant life in the U.S. and specifically as to why Indo-Pak basketball came about and all of the histories that I've gotten really tell us a lot about how race and racism are still present in this community and how the experience of Indians and Pakistanis and Bangladeshis in other places playing high school, college ball have been one that's been really stressful, a lot of violence and exclusion that Indo-Pak basketball has formed through that, a space where you can really allow yourself to play within your community while also performing, a really very urban masculine identity. And so for me, like Indo-Pak basketball is really to allow us to talk about what it means to be modern U.S. citizens, and most of us, I think, are, I would say South Asian American or Desi American instead of being solely from back home.
Right. Now you said you're kind of comparing IPB and the experiences of IPB towards other areas and other formats. Like, what are some of the other places that you've looked at?
That's a great question. My work looks a lot as to why Indo-Pakistani basketball players choose specifically to play basketball. I mean, we are often associated with cricket and hockey. Why is it that in this day and age, in this country, we choose to play basketball, and how that allows us to create a very American identity that is also related to like struggles of African Americans in sports. I mean, basketball wasn't integrated till 1950 something, long after Jackie Robinson got into baseball, right? So it's to look at some of the the parallels, but also to see how African Americans have played a huge part in really allowing people of color like ourselves to get into the sport.
Now, have you looked at places like India and I know in Canada especially, like Vancouver, Toronto, there's a lot of, they seem guys up there seem to be fourth, fifth generation, so they seem to be able to compete at a lot higher level. Have you looked at areas like that?
He should be writing my paper, man, not me. I mean, those are absolutely fantastic questions, and I was actually at this Chicago IPB. That's where I talked to Irfan and stuff, and that's that same story you hear, right? The Vancouver team, right? How come their community loves basketball, right? So the paper has to, like my paper has to examine what it means to have basketball be part of our cultural identity, right? For us, as a Christian Indian, like it means dressing in sari and eating Indian food. That's what's often been told of us, to be Hindu or to be Muslim, but not to be a basketball Muslim player, to have your urban outfits, to have the urban walk, but instead we're pictured in a very traditional sense. So I think a lot of players talked about how Vancouver was an example of where the larger community embraced basketball, while for us in the U.S. has always been working to get our own ethnic organizations and our community to embrace basketball, but it becomes a very IPB thing. Like it hasn't expanded as much.
Right, it's a very closed, it's like a fraternity.
Yeah.
How long have you been working on this paper?
This paper I've been working on it. This would be my second year. Like it's just doing a lot of research.
Completion of your program.
Yeah, this is actually my PhD topic.
So are you gonna the final product of that? Are you gonna make that available?
Yeah. Actually, Irfan has a copy of the paper I wrote in the fall, which is okay. It's not that good, but yeah, because I think it's really crucial when you deal with people that you guys be able to trust me with what I'm doing and see how I'm representing you. Because in this day and age, when it's ESPN and sports, we have Desis with the spelling bee, or Vijay Singh with golf. Like, how many of us really associate with those people? So I think it's really crucial that how I represent, the players in IPB is crucial to me being able to get your voices in. It's not about me playing for, Atlanta Outcasts, because then it would be Story of Stan, instead of IPB. So.
What one final question for you?
Yeah. Oh no, I got time, but I just feel like I'm rambling on.
No, that's fine. This is great stuff. In terms of, it's a two-part question. Obviously,
Sure.
you know, majority of us in the United States are all first generation. Our parents came here from, you know, India, Pakistan, wherever. So obviously, there's a different core set of values that they hold that we obviously, you know, develop something different growing up here. You know, it's kind of a mix of both worlds. And there's, you know, in our traditional culture, there's really no value placed on sports. You know, in terms of your parents' eyes, I mean, they don't really see kind of the value of sports. You know, and I think as we get older in generations, that'll become more important. But as like younger people, you know, people between, you know, ages, you know, 14, 15, or people between, you know, in their 20s and stuff like that, what do you think are some things that can be done to get them more interested in IPB or into like playing competitively or getting the word out? Because I think a lot of people, you know, especially our age, if they don't play high school ball or something like that, you know, they kind of just stop playing ball or they stop participating. And it's tough to you know, get more people involved. I know our team, we live within 40 miles of each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, we're all spread out, you know, in this DC area. So we're literally, I mean, we're literally, you know, I don't want to sound like cocky or whatever, but we're literally the best players, you know, Indian, whatever, in 40 miles. And there's more than, you know, 20 people that live in 40 miles. So what do you think can be done to kind of, not necessarily promote it, but get people more involved and see the value of participating in things like this?
Yeah, I think that's a question I think everyone in IPB is asking, right? Like, meaning, does it die after we're done playing ball? Right. I mean, does that mean that at one point we as Daisies are no longer basketball players, right? I think that's a really, really important question, and I think I can't, like, I don't know enough about, you know, what's happening here in the DC area, but in Atlanta, there's been such an explosion of basketball that you have. I think it's crucial for the cultural centers and the religious sites to also have a place where you can ball and have adults put that in.
A lot of all the other cultures you look at, I mean,
the churches, every church has a basketball court, right?
Jewish community centers, and I grew up at a Jewish community center. You know,
Yeah. Oh wow.
That's
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's very important work you're doing. I mean, I'm really glad to hear about it, and you know, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people interested to see the results you're working with. Anything we can do to help.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks.